So let's have a little chat, shall we? I know it's been a minute since I've made a video, but I've been so busy. Life is happening, transition, change, and restoration. You know, I had an epiphany. I guess you could say it was a channel, whatever you want to call it, when I was in meditation. And to me, it was really a major revelation in so many words. This is what I'm talking about right here. Cthulhu is rising. And for people who know, people who are real occultists, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to break it down and get into what I mean. I'm just going to leave it right there at the front door. Cthulhu is rising. And no, I'm not talking about the actual monster in H.P. Lovecraft's stories. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the symbol of Cthulhu. What does that mean symbolically? People who are real occultists understand what I'm talking about. And I've been talking about this for quite some time. The war between the subconscious mind and the ego. The whole thing that took place, that whole alignment that everyone was referring to between Jupiter and Saturn, okay? That whole alignment that was taking place was symbolic of the war between the ego and the subconscious mind. We're going to talk about wars and how things have been turned upside down. See, our ego, and I'm talking about black people, our ego and our subconscious mind is at war. And that alignment, or that back and forth between Jupiter and Saturn, was symbolic of that. See, what's happening out there in the universe, in that fake universe that they tell you about, is actually what's going on inside of the real universe, which is inside of you and me. But they don't tell you to focus on that. They tell you to focus on what's out there somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Not to sound condescending, but you get what I'm saying. Distractions, wars, rumors of wars. But the revelation that I got, or that I received, it really makes perfect sense why black people are at war with one another. It really makes sense why nothing that we really do really works out for us. And here is why. Through years and generations of subliminal programming in multiple lives, not just this life, but in multiple lives, through years and possibly hundreds and thousands of years of subliminal programming, mind control, and trauma, what has been managed and what has been accomplished is turning us against our own minds. And I said, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. And religion put its seal of confirmation on that. When they told you to be afraid of this entity and that entity and this entity, and be afraid of this spirit and that spirit, oh, evil spirit, all of those things that they tell us to be afraid of. And I'm sure a lot of people already know this. Those things are all part of our minds anyway. So because our minds have been turned against us, and because we've turned against it, And religion helped to exacerbate that. Even forms of so-called consciousness has exacerbated and continued the process of turning black people's minds against them and us against it. And when I put everything in perspective, it makes sense why black people hate other black people now. It makes sense why black people are flaky towards other black people, abusive, psychotic. It makes perfect sense because we have a quantum entanglement that we're working with each other. We're all black people. We have a quantum entanglement. We're quantumly entangled with one another, whereas others are not. That's what makes us different. That is why when one black person hurts, we all feel it a lot of times. See, we don't have the same this or that as others. Let me just say it that way, because I'm not going to give out too much, because I want to stay on topic on what I'm really trying to say in this revelation that I got. See, a wise woman who was my play godmother, her name was Shirley. She died in March of this year. She was my grandmother's best friend. And Godmother Shirley, although she was a Christian, she and I always had a good connection with each other. And see, now that she's transitioned, she's been coming to me. She's been coming to me. And she's been talking to me and giving me information. When you get information from the wise black woman, that information is more useful than anything in the universe. And she's been showing me different things, coming to me, letting me know different information. And that's all I'm going to say on that. But she was the one who actually gave me this information. We are at war with our own minds, and our minds are at war with us. See, we always give white people a lot of credit for this or that. And they can only be given credit up to a certain degree for a lot of the problems that black people have. But in actuality, they are simply taking advantage of the fact that we have no control over our minds anymore. They have taken advantage of the fact that our minds have turned against us and we have turned against it. That is why they are always ahead of the game. It has nothing to do with them being better or superior. Of course not. It's the fact that our minds are at war with us and we are at war with it. So the spirits that normally would work for us, because we've been out of alignment, the spirits that we've actually created ages ago, the spirits that we have elevated to deities, were actually spirits that worked for us, but now we're working for them. Not me. I'm talking about other people. This is my perspective, so don't get motherfucking offended. And if you do, I don't give a fuck. This is my perspective, my revelation. That's all part of why things don't work out for us the way that it should. We're not operating in our right mind. And in order for you to get the things that you want on a more permanent basis, and this is for myself included, because I consider myself part of the mix. I'm not above receiving help, but I'm just a messenger in this one. There are aspects that I need to change about myself too. I'm a work in progress too. Any occultist or spiritualist that does not acknowledge that, that's all I'm going to say. Because you cannot have a perfect life in a place that was not designed to be perfect. Not only is the mind, our mind, at war with us, but it's also at war with different aspects of us as well. Our ego. The ego is not the only part of the mind or the only part of us that our subconscious mind is at war with. Because this war that's happening within us, talking about black people, black men and black women, this war is causing a reverberation into the physical realm. That is why we have, here we go, and people hold on to your motherfucking boots. This is why we have COVID-19 right now. This is a result of the war that's going on in our own motherfucking minds. There's something emanating from that, and they don't understand what it is. It's spiritual first. Yeah, people can go and make vials and make biological weapons and all that, but it starts in the spiritual realm first. See, a lot of people are not led by their spirit. They're led by their flesh and their ego. So they believe, even some of these so-called spiritualists and so-called black conscious motherfucking niggas, they're led by their flesh. They're not led by their motherfucking spirit. See, I'm led by spirit. And I'm not saying that to say that I'm better. But you know some of these niggas are led by their motherfucking flesh. When they are so motherfucking out of bounds and so motherfucking uncomfortable because of a gay man being on a certain platform that I'm not going to name, dressed in drag. That's how you know a lot of these niggas are led by their flesh and not their spirit. I am a symbol for something. I'm a symbol. I'm a spiritual symbol. Just like some of you are spiritual symbols. What your symbol is, you have to figure that out on your own. See, this is all happening because there's something going on inside of black people. There's an end game that's happening. There's an end game. Then you have to pay attention to the numbers. Let's get into some numbers, because I like to break down the numbers too. Let's go back to 1226 when they say this was the last time. It was March 4th, 1226, the year 1226. They say that was the last time that we saw this conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn. When you break down 1226 and you put it together with March the 4th, again, that was the last time that they say this conjunction took place between Saturn and Jupiter. When you break down those numbers, it comes out to the number 45. Everything is spiritual and everything is tied into magic and the spirit and the universe or whatever the case may be. So take the number 45. Donald Trump is what? He's president 45. When you take that 45 and you break it down to the number 9, 4 plus 5 is 9, then you will be up under the vibration of the number 9, When you get up under the vibration of the number 9, that is all about endings. That is about endings. It also corresponds with death deities. Deities of death, of the graveyard. So, Donald Trump is the 45th president. He was elected in 2016 under the vibration of the number 9. You see where I'm going with this? You see the synchronicities. It's not about trying to figure just look at the synchronicities of the numbers. That's what I'm trying to tell you. 2016, Donald Trump was elected. He was elected up under the vibration of the number 9. He was President 45. 4 plus 5 is 9. This isn't about bashing Donald Trump or making him out to be the bad guy or whatever the case may be. It's not about that. That's beneath me. Because truth be motherfucking told, I'm going to leave that alone. But anyway, look at the numbers and the synchronicities with the numbers. Now, everyone was talking about December the 21st of 2020. When you put those numbers together, when you break them down to the single digit, it comes out to the number 10. Joe Biden is president number 46. 4 plus 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You see how these numbers are synchronizing with each other. See, there's a synchronicity there. There's a synchronicity there. That is what I'm trying to get people to look at. The synchronicity. This is all spiritual and occult stuff. That's what I'm trying to get people to see. Now, you decode it however you want. I'm just giving you the basic tools to understand and look at these numbers and how they're flowing. So as far back as 800 years ago, there was an ending. There was some type of ending that took place. And my estimate or my guess is that it was some form of cataclysm that happened in 1226 that we don't know about. Of course we wouldn't, because we don't have any conscious recollection of that, because if we were alive back then, we can't access those memories. See, I can. I've learned how to do that. And what I've come to the conclusion is that there was some type of, let's just say this, there was some type of plan in place at that time to depopulate the population even then. See, we keep thinking that things are new under the sun, but they're really not. We're at war with our own minds. There was a plan then to depopulate people. See, a lot of times they fill our heads with these stories of floods and, natural cataclysms. There's nothing natural about any cataclysm that they tell us about. Any stories that they tell us about where massive amounts of people died, it wasn't because of a natural disaster. It was because of an unnatural one. But see, it started in the spirit first. It started in the universe. See, they wait until certain planets align themselves with each other, and then they start doing these rituals. See, they knew that this new conjunction, or this current conjunction, they've known about this for quite some time. They have the records. They know. They have the original records. They know. They keep records from 800 years ago. We just don't have access to the real records. We just don't have it, but they do. We are at war with our own minds, and our minds are at war with us. That is why they're taking advantage of this shit that they're taking advantage of now. People are wondering why so many celebrities are dying and why all of these things are happening and so forth and so forth. People are wondering about that. You know why those things are happening? They're happening because a lot of those celebrities had inside knowledge. Some of them actually committed suicide. Some of them actually committed suicide because they knew what was coming in 2020. See, 2020, they knew was the year of redemption, exposing, and basically it's time to pay up. It's time to pay what you owe. See, they knew this. They knew their time was running out. And some of them took themselves out. Although that won't be reported. But in 1226, there was a plan to depopulate the population back then. Of course, it wasn't called COVID-19. But when you add President 45, when you take that 9 from President 45 and you add it to 46, President 10, when you break down to 46, it comes to the number 19. See, all of this is connected. It comes to 19. What is the pandemic we're dealing with now? COVID-19, right? You see the synchronicity. All of this is occultism and spirituality. Only the sheep don't see it. And again, because we are at war with our own minds, this is why we can't really counter what they're doing. Because see, they understand us better than we do. You get where I'm going with this? You see the synchronicity. So you pay attention to the synchronicities, and then everything else will open up to you and for you. Anyway, I just wanted to give my occult view on some things. It's been a while since I've come through and made a video. Like I said, life is happening. Change, all good change, by the way. Everything is good. Everything is good. All good change, all positive change. Because remember, in regaining control of your mind, one of the things you have to do is change how you think. That's one of the keys in regaining control of your mind. Change how you think. This is Sia Grant, aka The Occult View. Any questions? Until we meet again, thank you for letting me have this little chat with you.